What about like when they're doing those lab sort of ethically
Yeah.
lab grown meat, so there's no animal being slaughtered? Would you be tempted to eat that? If they, like, because the sort of food you're talking about is sort of
Yeah.
it's junky kind of meat, right? Like you could easily swap in an Impossible burger or Impossible fish or whatever,
Yeah.
and it's sort of not going to be a significant difference. But then there's lab grown meat, so this is fish,
Yeah, so it's
grown from fish
completely
DNA.
it's ethical.
Yep. And then it turns out that the meat has
Feelings.
Feelings.
Like
Doesn't want to
actually
get eaten.
better feelings.
more complex,
more complex.
very sensitive. It's a very sensitive
It's
state.
actually a higher
form of intelligence. It's not weighed
But
down by the
delicious.
burden. Yeah, the
Yeah.
smarter it is, the more delicious it is.
It not only understands morality, but is good moral.
Yeah.
like
And actually has plans for the future, how to build a better society.
the reason it tastes so good is because of its future aspirations.
It's like Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy, the restaurant at the end of the universe, the meal that comes out and tells you which part of it is the most delicious.
Yeah, it has a sentence that adds a extra level of. They used to think there was only 5 different senses you could get from food, but there's a 6th. It's called empathy. Can you taste the umami and the empathy balanced against each other? It's delightful.
So would you eat lab grown meat? Because there's people who are like, oh no, fucking it's wrong and
What's the arguments against it? I must admit I haven't really
I
explored.
think the argument at the moment is it's we haven't tested it enough.
Yeah,
But let's
okay.
say that it has been tested and it's like because you don't know, like obviously there's been centuries of knowledge of what a grass fed beef would what that produces, but steak grown in a lab. But let's just say they've done all the testing. There's been human trials, all that kind of stuff, and it's like, oh no, it provides all the kind of nutrients and minerals and proteins and stuff like that. There's no side effects, and it tastes relatively like 95% the same. You can, if you're a real connoisseur, you can probably taste the difference. But if you're average Joe or Jill, they won't be able to tell the difference.
I don't think that I would go out of my way to eat it.
Because you're not dying, because you've weaned yourself off meat,
Yeah,
right?
exactly. So I don't think that I would. But on that special occasion, if I like,
to a
so sometimes
barbecue.
when I go to a banh mi place, most of the time I would just get like a salad banh mi. But occasionally, one of the places I go to does like a faux, like other things.
Yeah.
And so sometimes I will have like that version. And I've got to be honest with you, most of the time when I make that call, I'm like, I didn't actually want this. Like, I like the version that I normally have.
I'm not sure if it still exists. There used to be a vegan restaurant, Chinese restaurant.
I know the one you mean. It was
White Lotus?
yeah.
Is it called White Lotus?
Yeah. Was it Chinese? Or was it
Chinese, wasn't it? Or was
Yeah,
it's
it might-
definitely Asian.
It was the Asian influence for
Asian
sure.
influence, but it was all fake meats.
Yeah, all fake meats.
And their crispy duck,
Yeah.
I reckon, is better than real crispy duck. It doesn't
Yeah.
taste like duck. It tastes like its own thing.
Yeah, that's
But it
right.
was so good. I remember that was like,
Yeah.
I'd just go there for the crispy duck.
Yeah, it tasted so good though that you were like, nah,
What is in
I
this?
don't know, this
It's
can't be
MSG.
right.
It's
Whatever
something-
this is not right. And so, yeah, I mean, I think in those rare circumstances, I would go, oh yeah, all right. But like you said, there's Beyond Meat and stuff now, and I don't go out of my way to use those things. Like it's processed, and I think you'd be worried about that lab grown meat that it's like,
What are the hormones that have been injected
what's been
into it?
processed, right? Like it is processed food, even if it's grown in or isn't it? No, maybe it's not.
See, this is where I get confused about
Yeah.
all this kind of stuff because I know there's that kind of movement against GMOs and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
Is it GMO? No, genetically modified. Is it GMO or GMF? I don't know. Genetically modified
You
foods.
thinking about GMB?
No, I just burped into.
Okay, great. It's a new podcast now. Welcome to 2025. We burp now. It's okay. We're allowed to burp.
Yeah, we're turf warriors.
Yeah.
Remember that from 6 weeks ago?
Yeah. We barely remember it from 2 hours ago.
Everyone relax.